AM 630. WMAL.
8:07 on WMAL. Happy Thursday morning to you. Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson with you. Very pleased to have Joe Theismann in the house. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You look great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just come back off a couple weeks vacation, so a little bit of sun, a little bit of tan, a lot of golf.
Does the body a lot of good, doesn't
it? Sure does. That warm sun makes a difference.
We were talking off air. You think of Washington, you think of the Redskins, and you still think of those great teams of the 80s. And you are, right there among a lot of great names, guys in the Hall of Fame. And, you are a part of the fabric of this community still today.
Well, I appreciate it. We were, as you mentioned, Brian, we were talking about the fact that during the 80s, there wasn't free agency. Mm-hmm. So if you were a Redskin, you were here. I mean, you wanted to stay. You had to stay to keep your job, basically. This was the way we earned our living. And in the communities we grew up in, our families grew up here. The kids went to school here. Mm-hmm. You didn't play one city and go live in another city like a lot of guys do today and are afforded the opportunity to do it. And a lot of the guys from the 80s are still around. And it's great to get together with them. And I think a new era is about to start. I think there's a new era of recognition for some of the guys that will play with the Redskins now, hopefully going forward with the additions of a Josh Morgan, a Pierre Garçon, Robert Griffin III coming in as the quarterback. I mean, and I think that Mike Shanahan's in a situation, we haven't had this since Daniel Snyder's tenure as an owner, to have a coach actually renew a contract.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. What an interesting concept. Huh?
And I think the stability is starting to be created with the players, the organization, the coaches, and I think that's exciting in itself.
All right, we're going to talk a lot of football, but we also want to talk about the main reason you're here today, which is talk about something you're doing.
I thought it was to come and see you, Brian.
I was hoping it was.
I thought the invitation was to come and see
you.
The
invitation, by the way, is open any day.
Thank you.
You are doing something in the community, and it's a screening, a health screening that can take place that may save some people's lives.
We really feel like it is. I got involved 4 years ago with a campaign called Find the Answers. It's a Find the Answers campaign. It's Medtronic and there's a Find the Answers coalition got together and really funded it so that we have a chance to talk about abdominal aortic aneurysms, which is referred to as AAA. What it simply is, it's a bulge in the artery that carries blood from the heart to the lower extremities. If it bursts, there's about a 95% chance that you'll die. So you can get a screening. We have a free screening at the Gaylord at the National Harbor on June 8th from 8 to 5. You have to pre-register. The phone number to call is 866-371-3592. It's 866-371-3592. Call, get pre-registered for the screening. It's a simple, non-invasive ultrasonic test to see if you have an abdominal aortic aneurysm. My dad was diagnosed with one. That's how I wound up getting involved. And I was ignorant to what aneurysms really were. I thought it was just in the brain. Yeah. I thought there was only a brain aneurysm. I didn't realize it'd be other parts of the body. And as it turns out, my dad had one. I got involved in what amounted to now a national campaign where we talk about people going and getting screened. We've screened over 1,000 people in the last couple of years, and we have found 50 abdominal aortic aneurysms.
Wow.
Which means I really feel like we've saved 50 people's lives. So what you were talking about, Brian, is it's an opportunity to save lives. It really is. And by the way, I encourage the women out there, the mothers, the wives, the girlfriends. If a man in the family is over 60, encourage them to go to this screening, pre-register, go and get it checked out. It's about 10 minutes of your time. It's funny when it comes to doctor's appointments. If it's a tea time, it can be thundering, it can be lightning.
You'll be there.
We're going to be there. If it's a doctor's appointment, we're going to find some way, shape, or form to avoid it. It's who we are as guys. And so, it's interesting. Bob Dole had one. Rodney Dangerfield had one. Albert Einstein died of one. Lucille Ball had one. It's more predominant in men, but it's more fatal in women.
And who's most at risk? Elderly men?
Not elderly men. If you have diabetes in the family, history of high cholesterol, heart disease, any of those factors are a part of your family. Smokers, if that is a history in your family, you probably are more susceptible to possibly getting an abdominal aortic aneurysm. And it took me 5 days to figure out how to pronounce it smoothly, to be honest with you. But we would call it AAA.
So a quick, non-invasive thing, and you'll have the peace of mind, or maybe you find out I need to do something to save my life.
Exactly, and like anything, if you can find an early diagnosis to a problem, then there's an opportunity to be able to treat it or find out. And again, always consult your physician. I mean, that. Always talk to your doctor. And when you do go for a physical, be proactive. You don't drive a car. I liken it to our bodies as cars. You don't drive into a body shop and say, look it over. Well, look what over? The engine, the body? I mean, what do you do? So when you go get your physical, ask for an abdominal aortic aneurysm ultrasound. Ask for a test. Ask for the blood tests you need for PSAs, for cancer. Be proactive in your life. I'll be 63 coming up this year. I don't know how I got here. I really don't. I mean, I woke up one morning, I was 50. The next thing I was 60. I mean, I don't know where those 10 years.
What happened?
You don't look 63.
Well, I appreciate it, and I wear my orange suspenders, which we use to highlight the cause. And you can go to our website, which is findtheanswers.org, also, and find out a lot more information. But you get to a point where you have to start thinking about what affects your body at a certain time and space. Yeah, I'd love to be 25 again. I'd love to not have issues that I have. But if you have them, if there are opportunities to be able to find out if there's something that can be done or you can help yourself with them, go do it.
And it's at the Gaylord National Resort Convention Center, Friday, June 8th, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We'll put some information on our website as well.
Appreciate it.
You talk about health issues. What about the big debate that's going on right now about head trauma for people who've played in the NFL?
Well, I don't think it's just for people that play in the NFL. Certainly there are problems. I have post-concussion syndrome. I have balance issues. I have memory.
Do you really?
I believe that. And I'm going to go get tested just to confirm the things that I'm feeling. You look at our sport. It's a contact sport. What scares me, to be honest with you, is what is football going to look like a year from now, 2 years from now? How do you legislate contact out of football? How do you legislate violence out of this game? It's guys running into one another.
Should
it's
you?
who we are. No, I don't think so.
But
I think you.
What about the health impact that you talk about that you're experiencing?
Well, let me just say this. If you're a fireman, there's a risk that goes with your business, but you still become a fireman. Mm-hmm. If you're a police officer, there's a risk that goes with your business. You still become a police officer. If you want to play professional football, I think you understand that there's a risk out there. You could get a broken leg. Twice.
It's happened.
You could get broken noses 7 times. Right. You could get broken collarbones. You could get broken ribs. You can get broken hands. You're going to be running into people. So you could have something with your head. They're all part of. If you go and choose to do that, then I think you accept the responsibilities and the consequences of what the profession is. It's not like somebody hid it from me.
Yeah.
I basically knew that I was going to get knocked around, teeth knocked out. All those things have happened. Scars in the head. I mean, I have that.
All right, we'll pick up on that and also talk about the Redskins coming up. Joe Theismann in the studio this morning with us.
105.9 FM and AM 630.
817 on WMAL. Brian Eman, Brian Wilson, Joe Theismann is in the house. All right, picking up on that concussion thing, which is obviously a big deal in the NFL right now.
Sure
Roger
is.
Goodell doing... Safety is. But don't you think, or do you think that the Players Association, the union, the current guys should be doing more to help those guys like you that have been in the league and are suffering from injuries that occurred on the football field? It seems to me that there's not being enough done with the current players to help some of the older guys out. I mean, who knows why Junior Seau killed himself? It may have been concussion. It may have been just depression or something
Suicides
like
that. It's number 10 when it comes to deaths. So it isn't just athletes that have that happen in their lives.
It could have been something else. Dave Duerson, though, it seems that there was something going on with him in his head.
There's no question that there's an issue, and if you look at the nature of our profession, it's a collision profession.
Sure.
So you're probably going to have situations that occur. I think the Players Association, in conjunction with the National Football League, working together to try and help guys to do things. I know a lot of suits have been filed against the NFL. I don't know enough about them to really comment on them. And I think it is irresponsible for guys to make statements with regard to situations that either aren't personal that they're aware of or that they think they may have heard about. I don't know exactly what the nature of the suits are, and to comment on it, I'd be wrong to do that. I do know in my life that it's something that I need to look into more closely. It's something I need to look at personally because I am finding effects and changes in my life, memory more than anything, to try and remember some of the things. And it's more than just where did I put my car keys. It's the name of a person or someone I know very well, and I just, for the life of me, can't find it. I want to know why. As part of,
I don't know, Joe. That happens to me, and I didn't play football.
I was just going to say, Brian. It happens to people. But is the NFL Players Association doing enough? I think DeMaurice Smith does a tremendous job leading the union. I think getting the collective bargaining agreement done was a terrific joint effort by everybody, by Robert Kraft, by Jeff Saturday, by DeMaurice Smith, and everybody involved. You know, what the union wants to do is protect its players. I think what the National Football League wants to do is protect the players as well as the game and the integrity of the game. It's not a simple task by any stretch of the imagination. I believe the union is doing a lot, and I'm a big believer that we don't have to know everything about everything that's going on. I think that there are things that should be carried on behind closed doors, and when there's a resolution, then people find out about it. I feel that way as a nation. I think nationally as a nation, we know way too much. We're given way too much information.
Security should be like knowing about what happened with the Bin Laden raid, those kind of things.
I think national security issues should be national security issues, and I think the government has a right to protect us basically from ourselves to a degree. Now I know people are going to go, wait a second, Theismann, what are you talking about? That's my own personal belief. I think that there's ways that we need to conduct ourselves as a nation to protect the masses that are in this nation in a certain way where we can basically say, look, you go do your job and take care of us. I don't need to know. I don't need to know everything. I'm not one of those people. All
right, when we come back, we're going to talk about RG3 and the future of the Redskins.
That we need to know.
And also talk about your charity and your cause.
It's basically everybody's cause.
105.9 FM and AM 630, Washington's Mall, WMAL, where Washington comes to talk.
8:23, Joe Theismann is in studio. You've spent some time around Robert Griffin III, RG3. What do you think?
I'm so impressed with him, Brian. He's an impressive young man. Athletically, we see his skills. Intellectually, he's quite a delight to be around. And going through that Theismann process, I think, has really got him ready to deal with all the things that he's going to have to from a media standpoint in this city. His talent is great. I mean, he's been anointed the starter.
Right.
And that's exciting because there are a lot of pieces around him, I think, that can support him. I've always said this, the quarterback is the single most dependent position on the field. And they've got wide receivers. The offensive line, which has been an issue in years, I think is really starting to come along. We talked about, Mike, hopefully going on and being the coach here and having some stability there. Defense is strong. I like everything about the way the organization has approached this particular season. It's more, in my opinion, I think it's more than just cautious optimism when we look at the Redskins this year.
All right, we want to give you another chance to talk once again about this cause that you have adopted.
Right.
It's very important to you about AAA. Explain quickly what AAA is and about the screening they're going to have at Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center on Friday, June 8th.
Abdominal aortic aneurysm is what it's called. You can go to our website, which is findtheanswers.org, find out a lot more information about it. The screening will be held at the Gaylord, as you mentioned, at the National Harbor. You can call. We need you to pre-register. It's 866-371-3592 is the number to call. I'd encourage men over 60, women as well. Come on out, get yourself screened and taken care of.
With the seconds we have left, do you trust Dan Snyder?
I do, implicitly. I do. I think I trust Mike Shanahan, I trust Bruce Allen, I trust Daniel Snyder, and I trust the fans of the Washington Redskins to get out in force to support a football team that I think will be so exciting and bring back Brian talked about it, bring back the feelings of the 80s back to this organization.
What do you think about like a 16-year-old kid today thinks of the Redskins as a consistent loser?
I think that he has an opportunity to grow and learn. If he wants to look at losers, let him look at the Cowboys.
and how do you think the season's going to play out? What do you think the win-loss record's going to be at the end of the year?
I'm not going to do that. I think we can win double digits, though.
So there's our soundbite for the rest of the day.
Look at the division. Look at the division. I mean, you got 3 All-Pros in the division, and hopefully a young star rising.
Will you come back sometime? This has been great. We'd love to have you. We really enjoyed it immensely.
Thanks, guys.
Joe Theismann in the house today. How wonderful is that?